Yeah, welcome to More Than Black and White podcast, where health, hustle, and higher thinking meet. I'm your host, Brian. My man, Paul. Each week we like to explore real conversations on mindset, motivation, holistic health, entrepreneurship, and just the overall human experience. This is not just another podcast. It's a movement to challenge you to step outside your comfort zone and to help you live your purpose.
I love it, Ed. I love that we're here talking to you all about the goodies, man. Like, listen, this topic is something I'm so happy you brought this up, bro, because like looking into this in the biohacking, like, first of all, like what is biohacking, right?
Yeah.
The definition, just the definition we're talking about. We're going to dive into more. The definition is taking control of your biology using science, tools, lifestyle changes that will optimize your mind and your body. And I'm also going to add in there your spirit. Let's talk to this next one, intermittent fasting. I think majority of people have attempted in some shape or form. And basically what this is, my peoples, is it's time restricted eating. So that means like we're like literally when you're asleep, you're not eating, right? So that's technically a fast. And what are you talking? What do most people have when they wake up? A break fast. They break the fast. And you don't have to do that in the morning. You could do that later. And what people will tend to do is they'll say, okay, I'm going to go to sleep, or I'm not going to eat after 7, and I'm not going to eat again until like 11 a.m. Right? Stop eating at 7 p.m. again. I'll eat again at 11. And the times can shift and change. But I think this is a very important thing for us to talk about, especially when it comes to biohacking, because there's some powerful things that can happen in a fast. B, can you break some stuff down for us, man? What we got?
Yeah, man. Like personally, I've been doing fasting for about a year. I'll be the first to admit, like for a long time, I was like, oh, this is like another fad. Like if you're hungry, your body's signaling you to eat. Like, you need to eat. Yeah. But I just realized my blood sugar was all over the place and it was causing cravings because I wasn't eating correctly. But I've been doing it like I basically fast every single day. If I'm on vacation, like I'll eat some breakfast if I'm out or anything like that, because I've also heard of research saying that there's no difference if you fast 4 to 5 days or you fast 7 days. So you can have like a day or two to kind of break in there. I just keep it pretty much strict unless I'm like out on vacation. I want to try some new stuff and whatever like that. But most of the days, I'll also have my first meal between like 11 and 12, and I'll have my last meal around 6 or 7. So I basically do like a 16-8 split, where 16 hours, 17 hours I fast, and 78 hours I eat. But what really honed this in on me and made me want to do this is I was watching an Andrew Huberman podcast, and we talked about this before, and he had a guy on his podcast, Matthew Sinclair, and he was the Harvard Medical School. He was a leading researcher in longevity. And what he realized was, yeah, remember this? Yeah. So when he did a study with all these animals, dogs, mice, monkeys, rats, every pretty much all the animals that they use, and they would eat less. The animals that ate less lived 30% longer and stayed healthier. Didn't come down with issues. Didn't come down with illnesses or sick. They didn't get sick or anything like that. So what happens is the science behind it is fasting. It activates these longevity genes, and these longevity genes are called sirtuins. And what happens is when you have low insulin levels in your body, these longevity genes, these sirtuins, they turn on, and it protects you against aging and disease. And what I mean by aging, I'm not saying chronological, I'm talking biological. So on a biological level, you don't age as fast. And when your insulin is always high, you're constantly always eating, these aging sirtuins, they never get turned on. So you're just burning through your biological clock very quickly. So it just speeds up the aging process. So fasting basically turns on longevity genes, which helps you prevent against aging quicker.
Dude, so that's like it's interesting because is that process autophagy, or is autophagy okay.
So what happens is, when you fast, I want to say it's more than 16 hours, 14, anywhere from like 14 to 16 hours. Yeah. Your body, you have a system in your body called your autophagy system. And basically what this autophagy system does, it eats up old proteins, misfolded proteins, and it basically cleans itself out. And it's basically the whole system is called macro-autophagy. And this is what happens when you fast on a regular basis. You create macro-autophagy.
That's what I'm
And
thinking.
then after 2 to 3 days of fasting, you have a different system that kicks in. It's called your chaperone-mediated autophagy system, and that's a deeper detox. And they have showed studies that even in like old mice, old monkeys, old rats, they live 35% longer when the system is activated. So think of it like, so the difference between your autophagy system and your chaperone autophagy system, and I've used this analogy in the past, right? Just say I have a white carpet, right? And you walk in with dirty shoes. You're out gardening. You walk in with dirty shoes. You have clumps of dirt all over the place on my carpet, and you have some stains in there. The autophagy system is if I would just vacuum those clumps up, I would still have the stains in my carpet. After 2 to 3 days, that chaperone-mediated autophagy system would kick in, and that's like me, equivalent to me taking like a steam vacuum and really scrubbing out the stains in the carpet. So it hits different systems. It just hits a much deeper cleanse when you activate that chaperone-mediated autophagy system, and that happens after about 2 to 3 days. So a lot of people that I know that are really like religious with it, they do the fasting 6-7 days a week, regular 8-hour fast, and then every quarter they do a 2 to 3 month fast, and they've seen amazing results.
Like a 2 to 3 day fast.
Yeah, like a 2 to 3 day fast.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I did. Yeah, listen, this is a powerful piece, man. This right here this is a real goody good. This takes a lot of discipline, but like this autophagy, and thank you for breaking down the different stages of autophagy, because that I always dig when you give that carpet analogy. You don't give it as much, bro. You fail to give it as lot, but when you do, I dig it, because I think it's so important, because that's cellular repair. Like, listen, it's like the cells are very important for us. When we talk about the mitochondria we were talking about before. And this is like cleaning out your cells. This isn't about, hey, you're going to lose a lot of muscle or you're going to starve yourself. Like, because, and I want to come to something that Brian mentioned before. Is like, okay, hey, I would eat and think I need to eat, right? Or get a craving. And really that craving is like some of those sugars, those toxins, those parasites that want to be fed. So when you're doing that deep cellular clean, you're sweeping deep, you're going in, getting these things out, realigning your gut. All these different things are super important. But also, like, I like what you said about the fat loss and the brain health. But I also, before we get into the last one and start wrapping up, I want to also make sure we talk about the precautions. So for this one, I know, like, for some of the things I read, like no for pregnant women, no for adolescents. Any other ones that you think, like, really for right now, stay away from this until some other things are addressed, bro?
If you're taking any kind of medication that requires you to take food with it, just be careful with that. You could be fasting. But one other benefit I want to kind of get into real quick is, like, it helps with resting heart rate, and it helps with something called HRV, which is heart rate variability. And when that increases, your HRV increases, your nervous system handles stress better. It recovers better. So if you're having a hard time recovering, or you just don't handle stress better, like what I mean by not handling stress better, like, people that stress out, they start getting, like, stomach issues, or their hearts, or, higher heart blood pressure, or headaches, or whatever like this. When you fast, it increases the HRV, which your body doesn't recognize stress as that stressful anymore. There's still some stress there, but it helps kind of regulate your nervous system, relaxes your nervous system. You become yeah, exactly. Yeah, you adapt better to stress. You adapt better to your environment. You're more resilient. Again, faster recovery from workouts. So if you're a person that, like, you're sore for 2 or 3 days after a workout, or your sleep is all jacked up, that's another sign of overtraining, being too stressed out, like you can't fall asleep. Or you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't fall asleep, I would look at your HRV is probably decreased. So this will help you to increase and help you better off sleep. And also help you drop your temperature drops at night cooler. So when your temperature drops night cooler, you get a much deeper REM, you recover quicker, deeper sleep, and all that stuff. So
bless up, bro. Oh man, a lot of goodies. And we got one more for you before we wrap up.